to Chirohustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, ChiroThin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Local Gold, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Accident Records, Chiro Tax Pro, Full Script, your online dispensary, Angela Pearson, author of I'm Not Contagious, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 171 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I am your co-host, Luke Millette. Here is your host, Jim Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Drjoe Merlo, and if you want to know more about good vibrations and chiropractic, stay tuned. All right, so we are live with Dr. Drjoe Merlo. You're coming in from San Diego, California, and you got us coming in from Grand Junction, which is the Grand Valley of Colorado. And we're on the western slope of this beautiful state. And this is episode 171. And I just want to welcome you to the show briefly, Joe.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm very, very happy to be here. Thanks for having me as your guest.
Yeah, and you know that this is a show that will inspire not only chiropractors, but it will also inspire patients. So this story that you're going to help us with is going to weave into the fabric of the chiropractic world, but also it's going to reach further than just chiropractors. It's going to reach out to chiropractic patients, students, and it's going to really permeate the profession with good content and good information. So as we always start out our shows, we always ask our guests to tell us their chiropractic story and what really influenced you to become a chiropractor.
Well, long story short, I was born to a 15-year-old girl in New York City where she was deathly afraid she was going to be kidnapped, taken to Colombia, and have me aborted. And she knew in her heart that I had a purpose and that I had to live. We hid literally for 2 years, Jim, and she had long, beautiful black hair. She chopped all her hair off, and we hid. And I don't know if have you ever been to New York City?
Yeah, we have. We actually went to a seminar out there in Jersey called New Beginnings.
Yeah. Great people out there.
We took our first trip up to New York City with a couple chiropractors, and it was awesome.
Love it. Well, this area that I lived in was the projects of New York. I would ask my mom. I'm like, Mom, do we live in a war zone? And she's like, no, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, it sounds like there's bombs going off and there's gunshots and the cars are on fire, the buildings are on fire. And she's like, no, that's just normal. That's just where we live. That's just how it is here. And I would see on her face and in her body, like how like stressed she was and how much anxiety she had, and she had headaches and just overwhelmed. And by the age of 4, I just, my heart went out to her, and I wanted to support her. I just wanted to help her in some way. So by the age of 4, I'd have her lay on the ground and I'd start working on her. And obviously I didn't know what I was doing, but over time my skills developed, and I would see that she seemed very healthier and happier and just more energy, more pep in her step. And so over the years, my skills just kept developing. And, if you ever hear that saying, you can take the boy to the city, but you can't take the city out of the boy. Well, that was me. And what ended up happening is people were dying around us, like friends and family members were being killed. And so we moved as far west to San Diego, and I started getting involved in gangs because I was so angry and sad and confused, and I had all this just frustration, but I also wanted a community and a family that I never have. And gangs, honestly, Jim, are people like you and I. They're people that want someone to have their back, that's there for them, that you can talk to. But this gang that I was in, they weren't good. We had guns and knives and stole cars. And over time, I ended up in juvenile hall. And every time I ended up in juvenile hall, they're like, Joe, why are you here? You're not supposed to be here. And each time, like my heart was telling me I had to do something different. I had to do something different. But then I ended up in foster care. And in foster care, once you're in the system, you're stuck in their system. And the first foster care home was absolutely disgusting. It was, there was way too many kids, way too many adults. It was filthy. It was dirty. I got deathly sick to the point where I had 104 temp, and my mom was able to take me out and nurse me back to health. But once you're in that system, you're stuck in. So I had to go back to another foster care home. And in that foster care home was actually amazing. It was a mom, it was a dad, there was 3 brothers. They took me in as their own, and they started to teach me, about hard work and dedication and studying. And I started to thrive. They put me in football and wrestling. And the first year was like incredible. It's probably one of the best years of my child years. And the dad then pulls me aside. He's like, "Hey, Joey, you got to go." I'm like, "What do you mean I got to go? I'm doing great. I'm doing my chores. I'm listening. I'm going to practice and getting good grades." And he's like, my youngest son, he's about to graduate high school, but he's not getting the love and attention that he needs. And my heart broke because I knew what that boy was feeling, because I felt that my whole life. And so I was able to go back to my mom at that point because I was doing so well. But I still had this angst and this fight, but I had more tools in my belt, and I was wrestling like we were talking about earlier. And it wasn't until like my student advisor, I remember his name very well, Mr. David Bolware, and he said, "Joey, you'll result in nothing. You'll barely graduate high school. You'll never go to college, and you'll probably end up in prison or dead." And this is my advisor that's supposed to mentor and inspire me. And so a part of him, looking back and reflecting, a part of him was right. And it wasn't until I was about 17 years old, I got in a deadly car accident where I literally rolled down a mountainside about 7 or 8 times. And I remember rolling, and when I woke up, the roll bar, it was a convertible. The roll bar was smashed all the way to my head. Glass was broken everywhere. And 2 things happened. One is I thought I had died. I thought it was over. And the second is I felt a love and a warmth and a light, and I knew I was on the wrong path. And I knew that I had to do something different, and I knew that I had to take different actions. I was about to join the Marine Corps, and the Marine Corps, it seemed like so appealing because I had all that fight and angst, but I decided instead to go to college, even though I was told I'd never go to college. And my first year was horrible. I barely had a 2.0 grade point average, and until I took anatomy. And my first anatomy class was phenomenal. I fell in love with the human body and the cells, the tissues, the muscles, the organs and systems, and how everything worked together. And it was incredible. And so I've always loved people. So I thought about, becoming a physical therapist, becoming a medical doctor, or becoming a chiropractor. And for me, chiropractic made the most sense. It was non-invasive. It was holistic. It was wellness focused. I could take care of families and babies and kids. And so by the time I got to chiropractic school, it was literally like I was home. And that's what I've been doing my whole life. And if you ask my mom, she'll say that she raised me to be a chiropractor. So that's the long story short.
It's really awesome, man. It's really cool to hear the real story. I think so many times when we do interviews with people, we get a chance to hear their chiropractic story from like the inception of the adjustment, but we don't get a chance to hear the chiropractic story from the inception of the human. And I think that a lot of times when we think about where people are today, you fast forward 17 years into the chiropractic space from where you first started. I'm sure you've seen a lot change, and that's where we're going to go as we continue this conversation with you. But where you stand today, what would you say makes you unique in this chiropractic world?
For me, like I was sharing, like I was that gang member kid and teenager where I literally was trying to bring gangs together. I was trying to unite the gangs, you know, and I've always loved people. So that's who I am. Is my if that's my superpower, it's like, you know, is being a bridge and connecting people. If I walk into a room, I'm figuring out how to connect people. You know, if I'm in my community, I'm figuring out how to connect people. Even in our practice, I'm figuring out how to connect people. So I definitely see that would make me unique. And in chiropractic, I feel like I'm a bridge between the younger generations and the older generations. And I really want to help bridge that gap, because there's a gap there that I really want to see somehow in my heart and soul, us unifying the profession over the next decade.
So on your journey to get to where you are today, have you collected any favorite quotes, mantras, words of wisdom?
Yeah. I mean, so many. You know, I didn't have a dad growing up. You know, with that at that time, my mom had to decide whether to you know, take care of me, him, and her, and she decided that it was just going to be us. So I had a lot of pain, and I felt I didn't feel loved, and I felt very confused and sad. But I realized, you know, that I had to work on myself and my mind and my heart and my soul. And the quote that really shifted a lot of things is that to be the love that I'm always looking for. Because I was searching outside. But once I became the love that I've always wanted, the game changed tremendously for me from the inside out. And that's the chiropractic, you know, philosophy, is it's an inside out job and inside out healing. But then I transferred that into also, you know, into leadership. Be the leader that I've always been looking for. Be the business owner that I've always been looking for. And then that just stuck with me, and that has really catalyzed my evolution.
So on the topic of changing the game, how do you think the world would change if everyone got adjusted regularly instead of the small percentage that it's seeing now?
Yeah, man. I feel right now like chiropractic is poised to be one of the largest and best healing professions in the world, you know, and it can really transform the healthcare model. What I do see, though, there's some gaps there, is that we need to really focus in on our chiropractors, you know, the younger ones in school and the ones coming out, and even the ones that have been in 10, 20 years, is really helping them become great healers, you know, great educators, business owners, marketers, and salespeople, you know, and creating, you know, under levels of like a standard of care for chiropractic, you know, and figuring out how to create like a global connection for chiropractic, how we refer to each other, and having like a unified marketing message to share with the world. Because what we have to realize is what we're sharing is one of the best things out there in chiropractic healing services.
Well, let me ask you some tough questions, I think. I did a talk, I don't know, it's been 4 years now. I spoke at the Boulder Chiropractic Philosophy Night with Danny Knowles. Mm-hmm. Shared the same stage with Mike Vissarelli that night.
Yeah.
My talk was unity through diversity.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, man, if I go see you, you're going to adjust me different. If I go see you, you're going to adjust me different. If I go see you, you're going to adjust me different. But you know what? I'm going to get results from all of you, because you guys are going to make an impact on my neurology through the adjustment. And you guys are going to use your best toolkit and your best adjustment techniques to make me better. And you guys are going to look and see where I have, you know, abnormalities with subluxation. You guys are going to correct those. Why? My question to you is, why do all techniques work for people, for the chiropractors? Because if they go see you and they go see 5 other chiropractors in the state of California, each person's going to practice a little bit different. Why does it all work?
I mean, I think you hit it right on the head, Jim. It's nervous system based and focused, and removing subluxations. You know, there's a multitude of techniques, as you know, and all the techniques work. They're all amazing. Chiropractic is amazing. I think what we have to do within the chiropractic profession is celebrate our diversity. and really, band together versus against each other. And instead of saying, oh, my technique's better than yours, it's saying, hey, that looks like a cool technique. I'm so glad that works, and that works. But it's really about being subluxation centered, having being able to detect the subluxation, being able to correct it, and reconnect the brain to the body and the body to the brain, so the body can do what it's meant to do and be healthy.
Well, you hit it on the head too, and that's just it. Is when you talked about if chiropractic is going to do well, there needs to be a core marketing strategy.
Mm-hmm.
One of those things is saying, hey, we all do it a little bit different, but we all do it the same.
Yes. Because think about it right now. Like, there's so much shifting and changing going on. I mean, with the election, with COVID, with the protests, with riots, and I've been probably to about 6 or 7 different rallies, in the last 2 months. But what I see is people are so hungry and ready for change, right? So how chiropractic is going to evolve in this next 10 years is determined by how we're going to adapt and reorganize ourselves during COVID and after the elections and after everything else going on in the world. Because the world had literally, it was like a snow globe got turned upside down, and this major health crisis, and people are realizing how essential their health is. If every industry, every home, every person was affected because of a virus, they're realizing, hey, you know what? They got to take better care of their health. So in this shift and transformation, we can reposition chiropractic, as global healthcare leaders. And there's so much potential and possibility right now. It's amazing, truly. This is one of the most incredible times to be a chiropractor, for sure.
So let me break the mold a little bit more. This is a really interesting topic, because I think that a lot of times when people become chiropractors, they don't have like a leader. They just know that they want to be in some type, like you said. I didn't know if it was physical therapy. I didn't know if it was medical doctor. I didn't know if it was chiropractic. When we think about the profession of chiropractic, though, who were your like early leaders, and who are your heroes in the profession that you kind of looked up to, and you're like, I'm gonna be like that guy or that gal?
Yeah, I'd say one of my first early mentor, heroes where I was blown away by was a French man called Arnaud Bernier. And I remember him coming to our school, to assembly, and him showing what a cafe of life is. And I was literally like in tears, like bawling, crying. And I'm still emotional about it because it resonated that deeply in my soul. And now the office that we have is a cafe of life. It's, one of the most incredible healing spaces out there. But yeah, he was definitely pivotal. And we had this place called Masterpiece Training Camp, where we would go train with some of the best chiropractors, from the old school days, like Sue Brown or Jay Kamerick or Luke Coletto, some of the older guys, and they poured into us. They loved us, and it was freaking awesome.
You made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, ChiroThin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Local Gold, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Accident Records, Chiro Tax Pro, Full Script, your online dispensary, Angela Pearson, author of I'm Not Contagious, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle.
Sometimes we don't know where our trail is going to go on these interviews. We usually have like a core group of questions that we have prepared, but there's always those like little zingers that we like to throw out there. And because sometimes the person that we're interviewing takes the question that we're going to ask next. And
Yeah.
they go ahead and expand on something that, kind of throws us off our game. But, we've done a lot of these, and it's a lot of fun for us. I guess the next thing I kind of was curious about is, what college are you in? You're near Life West? Is that like the closest chiropractic college?
Yeah. Well, I went to Life West. Yeah.
Okay. So say that you had yourself like a second quarter student there. what bit of advice would you give to that student right now during this era of COVID and with the way that the profession is today?
I'd say the biggest insight I'd give them is well, a couple things. One is to trust the process. Life is filled with cycles and rhythms, and this is one of the cycles and rhythms. But to dig even deeper into their own mind and their heart and their body and their spirit, and to become stronger and healthier, more empowered than they were pre-COVID. Most of the world shut down, disconnected, hid, ran, and ate junk food and watched TV and Netflixed out. As opposed to what we did is we started reading more, learning more, studying more exercise, eating healthier, doing things to prepare ourselves for this next chapter. So digging in and doing the work.
That's what Luke and I did. We just got more focused on building business. During that time, I read 6 books. The past 2 months, I've hiked over 150 miles. So yeah, I was so dialed in to make a better version of myself and to not watch TV and to not wear a face mask and to, build up our own immunity through getting vitamin D and practicing healthy habits and, really focusing on relationships and how we can grow our brand and how we can get more awesome people like you to speak to us and to come onto our show. And I'm like, all right, the program is going to get stronger. The intention is going to get deeper. We're going to go really drill as far down as we can instead of going wide. We're just going to niche into this Chiro space and give good quality content to people, because if we are like the top dog show, then we have to continuously serve. We have to continuously show up. And so much of it is the conversation, but it's also the connection and it's the self-esteem. And there's so much to do along with it. So when we think about that next generation that you want to bridge, it has to be self-esteem, and it has to be getting out of the head and getting into the heart.
Big
and
time.
If we can get those students out of their heads and into their heart, business will grow because they will find you as the mentor. They'll find guys like Pete Goldman as a mentor. They'll find guys like Jay Comerick and Arnold Bernier as mentors. And they'll be like, wow, that's what sets me on fire. Yeah. And now I'm going to go out there and go forth and serve.
I love it. I love it. That's what's been great about COVID is, in all honesty, it exposed us, right? It exposed us. It exposed our mindset, our heart set, our soul, our bodies, our businesses, our relationships, our marriages, our parents. It exposed everything. And that was beautiful. I really love the really exposing myself so I can keep digging in and keep learning and growing and healing so I can help others grow and heal and learn too.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to bridge all these conversations back into each other.
Yeah.
I won't lie, I had some snacks.
Yeah. I'm not saying I didn't have snacks. just not a pint of ice cream every day like I know some people did.
So what are some of your favorite marketing techniques? If you have a message you need to get out there to everyone, what's your proven formula for getting information out?
I love Facebook and Instagram. I'll share a little story with Instagram. I botched that a little bit, and this is to help others so that they don't do it. Years ago, I was offered by some company. They said, oh, we can get you all these followers and help you build your Instagram. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. I want to help lots of people. But what I didn't realize is how that affected the algorithms and how it affected people being able to actually find me that were in my community and my friends and my family, and they couldn't see the information that I was sharing. So that was an interesting lesson. So anyone out there, don't do that. Play the long game. Our Facebook page, we played the long game. So I had an example A and example B, and so A was the Instagram don't do. B was the long game, and in there we have about 5,500 members. We have about 140,000 posts reach and over 20,000 people engaging per month. So there's a lot of activity, a lot of synergy, a lot of fun. I mean, and we're constantly, sharing everything from health and wellness and chiropractic, to even, what's going on now, the social justice stuff going on, the freedom, the constitutional rights, amendments, to inspiration, motivation, humor, so we're sharing all kinds of stuff on there. So that's definitely my favorite, because it was a long game strategy, and I can see the fruits of its labor. So whatever you do out there, for marketing, play the long game. Don't try and do any shortcuts, because it doesn't work that way.
So when it comes to like your actually practice and like the people in your clinic and not just like a social like network, what's your favorite way to stay engaged with your practice members? I'd say an easy way that changed the game for us was Reviewwave. Reviewwave was a great technology shift for us. They do so many different things that people don't realize. People think, oh, Reviewwave, they just do reviews, right? What they actually do, they can help you from anything from like 24/7 online scheduling, boosting retention. They can also help with automated texting and emails, like appointment reminders, reactivations, birthday, text, two-way texting, communication. Helps us do like campaigns. So like if we're doing like a workshop, we have a workshop coming up on Tuesday. So it'll help us create a campaign leading up to the workshop with the link. So, and it makes it all systematic and super easy to do. Creates, appointments and events, and then of course reviews. So our reviews, we were at about, when we joined maybe less than a year ago, we were at about 100 reviews, and now we're at 260 reviews, and we're not looking back. We're just going for it. But that technology helps streamline it, make it simple and consistent. So I would definitely, if you guys are looking for something that's automated, it's simple, and it integrates with your EHR system, that you can call them. Their number I think is 949-536-9008. And if you text that number and just put Reviewwave on there, they'll set you up and they'll get you all like geared up and see how it works with videos and interaction. It's super cool. It's awesome. They got dashboards and the whole deal. Because then when you understand your dashboard, you can see the metrics. And as we know, metrics tell the story in the direction of where we're at and where we're going. So let me ask you this. Where do you prefer to get your reviews put? Do you like Google reviews? Do you like Facebook reviews? Do you like Yelp reviews? Or where do you look for getting your reviews bumped up on? I'd say Google. Google's been a great natural organic growth, and when we have 260 5-star reviews, that speaks volumes to people. But Yelp for a long time, Yelp was, I don't know if you know anything about Yelp, but they always hid reviews, like I would get up to like 70 or 80 and then it'd be back to 30. And then 70 or 80, and then back to 40. Now, we're in the hundreds, so I think something changed for them. I don't know if legally they got in trouble for what they were doing, but Yelp is great. And then Facebook, of course, is great too, because people are on Facebook, pretty much every day. So when it comes to like media outlets, I know you said you like Instagram, you like Facebook and the groups in Facebook. Do you also like to do YouTube videos?
I do, and that's another project. I've been trying to stay in one focus and in one lane. So that's an upcoming project. I had it going for a while years ago, and then I just totally focused on Facebook and Instagram.
But that's just it. Is sometimes we talk about the vulnerabilities too, and we talk about things that we can become better at. And
yes.
I think when we understand that we all have strengths and we have weaknesses, that I look back at my whole life. I wanted to be a sports journalist, and I look back on those days where I was reading like these old sports stories. And there's this guy that played minor league hockey. His name is Hugo Prue, and he made this quote. He said, "The reason I went pro is because I took my weakness and I made it my strength.
Yes.
And I think that when people watch this and listen to this, they're going to say, holy smokes, if I just find out what my greatest weakness is and I make that my greatest strength, all my other strengths rise up with that. And everything else around me becomes easier because I didn't hide from what made me weak. And if you take your weakness and you make it your strength, that's a good, analysis for anybody out there. Like say that you're afraid to only do instrument adjusting and you're like afraid of your hands. Well, go to some Arno seminars or some Pete Goldman seminars and like really like discover what you can do with your hands.
Yes.
And make that your strong play. And say that you're a really good practitioner with your hands and you don't know how to communicate it so well. Go and study with Roberto Monaco and learn how to become a massive communicator and learn how to craft your stories and learn how to connect with people. Some people have that like innate inside of them. They're like, I can talk to anybody. Well, there's a lot of cats and gals out there that don't know how to communicate with anybody. And they can really be a good practitioner and a good technician. But when it comes to like, telling somebody, hey, this is how I'm going to help you, they have it so locked up in here that they can't like put it there. So I think that we have to play to our strengths and know what our weaknesses are.
Well, and you're right on with that. I remember years ago, I was afraid to public speak. I remember in clinic in chiropractic school, like they call me chiro rhythms because to calm my nerves, I'd play drums before I would speak. But by the time I was speaking, I was like dripping sweat. And one of the pivotal mentors and teachers and friends was Roberto Monaco. So if anyone out there, needs some help with their speaking and conveying their message, he's the man to go to. Influenceology. He's best of the best for sure.
So this is kind of a 3-part question. What are some things that you like to listen to in your spare time, like other podcasts? What books are you reading, and what are some of your hobbies?
Yeah. All right. I'll start with hobbies. Hobbies really is about my family, and really spending time with them and quality time. So I mean, we're constantly like riding our bikes, we're skateboarding, we're hiking. Right now we're big into surfing. We're going at least twice a week surfing, which I don't know if you guys have ever been surfing, but it is a workout, which has been super fun teaching them. And then lots of sports. I coach my kids, football. They play soccer, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. So we're high octane in our hobbies. So that's a lot of fun. And then I'm a voracious learner because of how I grew up and being in gangs and in so much pain and sadness. I realized that I had a lot of work to do to reprogram myself because I knew in my heart, my spirit, I had a vision and a dream to live, but I knew I had to change this and this before that could ever come to fruition. So, I spend literally dozens of hours either listening to like Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, he's legendary. I don't know if you guys have ever been to any of his stuff, but he's like the rock star of personal growth and development. I've done every single program. I've staffed on his crew and his teams. Also, Garrett J. White with Warrior. I've done a lot of work the last going 4 years now, and have done all of his programs. That guy's a madman. Him and Sam Falsafi. So I'm constantly listening to their modules and just learning and growing. I love to learn. Like it's constant in my house, and my kids know it. My wife knows it, and that's just what we do.
Do you listen to any other podcasts? I forgot if you mentioned that part.
Let's see. Another one's Brendan Burchard. High performance HPX. He's a genius at what he does as well. I like to mix it up and do some Joel Osteen. as well. So I'm pretty diverse, to say the least.
Well, at this point in the interview, I know we shared a lot of great information, and we got a good chance to have you share your story. And we talked a lot about chiropractic. Is there anything that we didn't ask you that you'd like to share with our audience today?
I would say for all the chiropractic entrepreneurs and anyone that listen to this is, just always listen to your inner voice. No matter what, God or spirit, whatever you want to call it, has a plan for you, and no one else may see it. No one else may understand it. Like I shared earlier, I was told I'd barely graduate or go to college or end up in prison or dead, and regardless of all of that, I knew there was something bigger in my heart, my soul to serve humanity. I was also told, when I moved, when I was thinking about becoming a chiropractor in San Diego and opening an office, I was told by multiple people, they're like, don't do it. You'll never be successful there. There's too many chiropractors. And I trusted my heart. I trusted my soul. And we've created one of the biggest chiropractic offices here in San Diego. So just no matter what, listen to that inner voice. There's truth, and live that truth every day.
So what are some website resources you could give people if they wanted to learn more about you and what you're doing?
Yeah, definitely go on our Facebook page. That's a phone. You can go on my personal one, Joe Merlo Chiro. You can also go on our business one, Good Vibrations Family Chiropractic. Our Instagram is Good Vibes Chiro Lifestyle. So those are some of the main ones. Our website is goodvibrationschiro.com. So yeah, those are some of the avenues to connect with us and to have fun. If anything that I do, it's having fun
And delivering the goods.
Yeah.
That's something I picked up from you is you like to deliver the goods and help people.
Yeah. I love people, man. And this is, the world needs us now more than ever, and there's 5 things that we all have in common. One is the capacity to love, to change, to listen, to influence, and to act. So if we can, just keep moving forward, we'll keep growing and healing and evolving together.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being our guest today on Chirohustle episode 171.
Yeah, thank you for having me. You guys rock, and I've loved watching your previous episodes. It's an honor to be here with you guys, and let me know how I can support you guys in the future.
Yeah, we're definitely advocates, and neither one of us are chiropractors, but we do our best to protect the sacred trust and keep free speech alive and well in the beautiful profession of chiropractic.
Yes, and hopefully I'll see you guys at Mile High.
Yes, sir. We'll both be there.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll be speaking there. So anyone watching this, make sure you go to Mile High. It's going to be hot. It's going to be fun. There's great speakers and great community there. So come on out to Mile High.
Cool, man. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon, okay?
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a blessed day.
Thanks, Joe.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.